I think by now we know 2007 was a major year in gaming. Many great games came out all at once. BioShock, that game was amazing, influenced many FPSs, and also had a new story that nobody had expected, and of course, the moral system in the gameplay. Good game. Halo 3. I'm using ODST here because some idiot stole my Halo 3 disc, but ended the trilogy and had a great multiplayer that was a ton of fun. Call of Duty 4 single-handedly changed multiplayer FPSs with its create-a-class system and XP system. But before that, XP systems would just rank supposedly how good you are, even though they were inaccurate. COD 4 made it time-based, so to keep you hooked on it, so many games tried to be like that. Mass Effect started a franchise and was a really fun game. Haven't played 2 or 3 yet. I've heard they weren't as good, but I'll see. And of course, this is the 360 version, and they ported it to PS3 and PS3 and PC later. And this was the 360 version with the 2 discs, but that was a good game. So why am I talking about 2007 games? Oh, and also Assassin's Creed came out. That game started a franchise. But why am I talking about 2007 games? Because this game also came out in 2007, but as you can tell, everybody seems to have forgotten about it because it wasn't too good. Pokemon Pearl and Diamond and Pearl. Basically, these games weren't that great in the end. Because I got this game way back in 2007. These other games, I got later on. Guess which games have held up better over time? Those other games. Pokemon Pearl, on the other hand, hasn't held up very well at all. This game is just mediocre and meh, like most of the main series games. And I still have the original version with all the packaging. So, let me just point this out. First thing you notice, you have this manual, thick, for all the people who don't know how to do basic stuff, despite the fact that this is pointless because they have a big force tutorial in game. And this. You know when I say Nintendo is milking stuff? Stuff like this is the greatest proof. You've got a poster for Pokemon Battle Revolution. You'll unfold it, and I still keep all my games in good shape normally. Whoa, they've got all sorts of milk. Toys, Pokemon the toy, Pokemon the... Yeah, I wish I was kidding about this, but this actually existed. Pokemon Learning, Pokemon the TV show, which is pretty much the same stuff every episode. A 3DS headset. Too bad they never told you that when you actually use the 3DS headset. DS headset, you get the lowest quality, and the 3DS even ditched the headphone jack and doesn't even use any headset, not their marked up headsets. The trading card game, our online store to buy stuff at, and our new movie, now on direct to DVD because no theaters would take it. And of course, a poster, which I never put up, for Pokemon Battle Revolution. It flopped. Nobody bought it, and it was on the Wii too, which was the biggest system ever. Of course, the Wii taught everybody that the only thing that sell are Wii Sports, so you've got, it says, are you ready to catch 'em all? Is your collection complete? You gotta buy Generation 3, and then spend your mom's money on Generation 4. Normally, when I say milk, many people don't get it, but the fact that they threw all this stuff in with a $35 game at the time just shows the milk. Of course, you got your health and safety booklet, and then afterwards you've got a thing saying subscribe to Nintendo's own magazine. Too bad they don't publish it anymore. It wasn't that good anyway. All they did was say Sonic was the best. Sonic and anything published by Nintendo was the best ever. There's a reason Sonic fans love that magazine, but I'm way off topic now. I've been ranting on why Pokemon is milk, but let's start the actual game. Stuff has changed, and despite me owning my original DS, I've got a 3DS now. So I'm just going to refocus the camera and just start off the problems. So, I'm loading up Pokemon Pearl. I've had this game since '07, but I have this thing called an action replay, which lets me take my save files and make new ones, pretty much, with Pokemon. So, since Pokemon normally only gives you one save file, I thought, what if I could play Pokemon over again? And then I found the horrifying truth. This game has not only aged well, it's linear as fuck. So, let me talk about the problems of this game. First thing is that the graphics look the same as Generation 3. I mean, seriously, all they did was add a 3D filter, and pretty much, whoa, it's in 3D now. I mean, and then they have the frame rate to 60 FPS. I mean, 30. You'd think the the DS would be more powerful than that, but no. The overworld runs at 30 FPS. It took them up to Black and White 1 for them to fix the overworld. Yeah. Well, I mean, the battles. The overworld still runs at 60 FPS. I mean, 30. And when you run around, it feels slow. At least you can run around in Poke Centers, but the game still feels slow. And did I mention, the grid-based overworlds I talked about in the XY videos? Here's what I mean by grid-based. You can't move diagonals. You can only move in a square grid. You can't see it because it's invisible, but it's really annoying when you're using the analog stick because the game does not control well with an analog stick. When you move it quick, it feels laggy. It just controls like terrible. I mean, and the 3DS D-pad is so terrible anyway. And X and Y, they're going to be on the 3DS. Anyway, despite looking like Generation 4. There's actually a cheat code for Generation 4, which lets you adjust the camera around and make it look like Black and White. The only difference is Black and White changed the engine and draw distance so it was more optimized for it. But they have the same art style, the same sprite. Yeah, shit looks terrible. Especially, I mean, it was somewhat of an excuse on the GBA despite not having the best GBA graphics, but keeping the same art style on the DS was not a good idea. 3D. So I'm going to rip out my DS's stylus. There's also some other gimmicks, such as the Poketch. What was it? A gimmick which was dumped in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver to replace it with a menu. You tap in the C gear in Black and White. It's basically a gimmicky watch which serves no purpose other than to give you stupid gimmicks like, whoa, a calculator. You can do stupid math problems despite the fact that it's not scientific, making it essentially useless. It has a step counter, which is only useful when you're glitching. Some stats to your Pokemon, which isn't useful outside of battle that much. And you could even get to it by pushing the start button anyway, and a time, so you'll know how long you're playing, so you'll know when you're playing this game. Pointless, at which they noticed because they replaced it with a menu in later games such as Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But basically, you spend the whole game running around in a linear path. How linear this game is? Well, it's got objects like the bike to block you off from going to a certain area, hidden machines too, which are basically excuses. It's got these stupid things which you can't go up unless you get a bike. So they pretty much encourage you to run all the way, backtrack a lot. You'll do this a lot. I mean, even though it's not as bad as Black and White where the whole game is literally walk in a line, this still has the walk in a line stuff, but it's all scripted. See? You just touch this area, the guy's waiting for you. And it's not even fun either. And did I mention that NPC earlier in the game? He calls you a noob. This game uses old memes. I'm not even kidding, this game uses old memes. I'm gonna play a Pokemon Metal Gear Solid right now, walk past these trainers, because literally, it's more fun just to walk past these guys, because all they do is stand there. And here's another annoying thing. The game is just boring. you'll have to see all these random encounters with Pokemon you don't give a shit about, and you'll just be tapping run. You'll get these repels, but repels are limited, and eventually you'll find yourself pretty much trying to just run. Sometimes you can't even run, but most of the time you can, making the game really easy. I mean, so in the end, the game can go from really annoying to really easy. And basically you run around, find items, and pretty much your cookie cutter RPG fare. Because that's all the game really is. It's a cookie cutter RPG. But instead of having an overworld, you've got all these towns. And I mentioned that repel thing wears off a lot. Let's talk about the main problems of the game. First off, the gameplay is the same as Pokemon Red and Blue, Generation 3, Generation 2, and of course Generation 5, and will be for XY. But you know, it's not even that fun anymore. You play games like Mass Effect, where you've got a deep story, and of course, you've got a ton of side missions, which are a ton of fun. This game doesn't have any side missions. This game is just walking a line to win. And that's another problem with Pokemon. The game doesn't really try. It doesn't even come off as entertaining. The stories, they're the same, copy-paste. They're the same. All they did was go copy-paste. Copy-paste. Hey, looky here, here's a Pokemon. Well, we're just gonna take this Pokemon, and we're gonna paste it here. Kaboom. You've got we've just changed a storyline. Like, oh my god, N. For example, he's no different than every other team leader, other than instead of wanting this, he wants Pokemon to not live with humans, blah blah blah, like Pokemon PETA or something. And speaking of PETA, did I mention that the fans will complain more about stuff that's not gameplay changes? So let me talk about the problems with this game too. The online. Just like everything Nintendo, the online mode's a joke. So after you beat the first gym leader, you get to access this thing called the GTS. And GTS is a big joke. Everybody around you is pretty much like, whoa, this is amazing. So I'm gonna show you how crappy the online is. By connecting. First off, there's no random battles in the game either, with matchmaking. Nope. Despite Halo and Call of Duty having that, this game doesn't have shit. Instead, it's got the shittiest netcode ever, where if something happens, kaboom, you'll get a blue screen and drop a lot. So I'm just gonna generate a friend code. No access point in range. Oh right. The 3DS's online backwards compatibility is so shitty, it can't even turn on the Wi-Fi in-game. So let's say I actually need it. Here's how you have to do it. Back out. Wait for the 3DS menu to load, because the 3DS is a slow piece of shit. Turn on the Wi-Fi. Start the game up. So while that's going on, I've got another DS right here. It's an old DS. It's right next to me. Today, I'm going to also show you something that Nintendo doesn't give a shit. After I'm done with this, of course. But basically, one of the main problems with Pokemon Online is not only that, but it's unbalanced. Literally, there's a reason why people like Smogon have 400 tier lists. Because the game is so unbalanced, you have to... Oh, another thing I mentioned. Saving. Right now, it doesn't take very long when you have barely any Pokemon. But when you get farther in the game, have a ton of Pokemon in your boxes, the saving will take a lot of time. And the game will say, saving a lot of data, please wait. And the game will take 30 minutes to... 30 seconds to a minute to save. 30 seconds to a minute just to save your game. And wiping, it took like 2 to 3 minutes just to wipe the save after I made a backup of it. I'm not even kidding. So basically, this saves your thing with the DS, and of course it generates a friend code. Why friend codes, you may ask? Because this online is so stupid. Instead of using gamer tags or IDs, it uses friend codes. So let's talk about the GTS. Wait, what? Did Nintendo shut that shit down? You gotta be kidding me. That's another thing. The onlines for these games get shut down easily too. And that's the thing, Nintendo, don't expect your Pokemon games to be playable online in 6 years. While Call of Duty 4, you can still play that online. Halo 3, you can still play that online. Pokemon, the GTS is down. You've been disconnected from a GTS. Bad sign right there. But hey, and you know the worst part? Heart Gold and Soul Silver are like 2 or 3 years old, and if they shut that down too, that's gotta say something about the company who made the game. They don't really care. But hey, Nintendo's been screwing people over for a while with Pokemon games, and none of you people have known it. How do I know? 2 games. Japanese Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and American Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Now, I'm going to switch the games, so give me a second. Now, these are 2 Pokemon games I bought back when I was still a fan. So basically, let me show you where something got neutered. Basically, what I've got here on Platinum is the screen for the email. See the E there? It's email. And you actually have to enter a code in. I'm just going to turn this off for a second, or point it at the other DS. And looky here. Damn it. Let me just view it again. After putting in an email, I'm going to cover this up with this shit here. You get to actually put an email address in. Now, I'm covering this up because I really don't want people to get my email address. But basically, you can actually put your real Gmail in. I'm not even kidding. Wow, with this English one, let me show you. God damn it. Okay, with the English one, here's what they did. Wii message settings. They neutered it so it can only use it with the Wii number. That's right, Nintendo actually took out functionality and neutered it, and nobody cares. But here's something else Nintendo did. For anything before Heart Gold, Soul Silver, there was something called the Game Corner. And here's what happened. There was actually a mini game in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, the original Heart Gold, Soul Silver. The plot was the exact same. You'd find the Game Corner wallet in the sewers. But basically, something happened, you see. For Pokemon, I'm just going to fly to the town first of all, just so I can... For Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, which did add some stupid gimmicky Pokemon Run Behind You, which adds nothing to the gameplay. Here's what they did to the American version anyway. Let me just run to the Game Corner in the censored version. The censored version has some guy sitting at some table and some Minesweeper ripoff. Mr. Game, show me how you be playing. Make my heart pound with excitement. You've got this censored thing. Here's what you get on the uncensored, pure, true, and honest version, which wasn't touched by Nintendo in any way. This is what you get when you if you live in Japan in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. This is a Platinum, by the way, but Heart Gold, Soul Silver has slots. This is what you get in the censored Nintendo version. And you know what? Fans were actually defending this. Fans defended this change, but yet made a big deal when PETA made a fun of Pokemon. That's right. They care more when somebody makes fun of their game than when say PETA, well, when Nintendo actually changes stuff. When Nintendo changes stuff, they don't care. They'll buy it anyway, instead of complaining or doing anything. Basically, they'll just buy up anything. I mean, this is the hardest proof yet. But hey, you want to know the biggest proof Pokemon's never changed? Let's compare Pokemon Pearl with Pokemon Black and White. I was going to show off Black and White, but first, one more thing I thought I'd add. You basically have to run up to these stupid things and evil boss battle. Whoa, 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 this music is so... Whoa. Actually, this would be a good point to prove. Pokemon hasn't changed. My DS? This is double battle, one's a single battle. Battles are the same. Same camera. And of course, even the same user interface. That's right, the games, other than the fact that they reskinned it, it's the same. Fight back, run Pokemon. Fight back, run Pokemon. The battles are the same. Hit an attack, and you tap your attack here. There's still only 4. All this game added was some triple battles, and that was it. There's no reason they couldn't have added it in Gen 4. Here's what you do. You just hit your attack. This is double battle, so it's got that. Whoa. Same thing. The gameplay is exactly the same. It never changes. This game came out in 2010. This game came out in 2013. Well, actually, maybe 2011. Let me take a look. Actually, yeah, I started this game in... Yup, I started this game in 2010. That's right. I started this game in 2010. Well, I got this in 07, and you know, I've been playing these for a long time, and you know what? If Game Freak doesn't even change, they're going to make the series a joke. I've seen many series I like go to crap. Pokemon is going to be one of them. They're just going to keep milking these out, and eventually the review scores will catch up with them. It'll be like the Mario series. People will start to realize they're getting milked, who aren't fanboys, that is, and it's all going to come down. In the end, Pokemon isn't even that great of a series in my opinion. I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, it's the same game each time. The plot's formulaic. Basically, you play as a bunch of guys who are like, oh my god, let's become the Pokemon Master, and it's a formula. You start out as there's a professor, there's a region, there's a bunch of Pokemon, some of which are rare but aren't really rare, and there's basically, you have to fight off an evil team, you have to beat the Elite Four, and the champion, you win. Black and White tried to make the story more forced, but Black and White also introduced another new feature that everybody will love. Region locking. If anybody else did this, there'd be backlash. If Nintendo does it, who cares? Go game. DRM for the win. That's all you need to know about Nintendo. They'd rather block out people who actually buy the games, but if you have a flash card, the game will work perfect. That's right. If you pirate the game, it will work fine on your DS, 3DS. If you buy the legit game, it won't work. But that's all you need to know. Nintendo, I've pretty much proved my point. Nintendo is basically nickeling and diming Pokemon fans and milking that cow until it's dry. All in all, Pokemon is just a mess series. Save your money and don't buy it. Put your money on games that are actually innovative. especially in 2007, there were all sorts of good games that came out in 07. This game is not one of them. And you can tell because they still sell COD 4, Mass Effect, ODST, and Bioshock in stores. Can you find Diamond and Pearl? Nope. You still have to buy. If you can only find Black and White too, which sucked. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more.